Hey, Pastor, doesn't science disprove the Bible?
Isn't Genesis just a fairy tale?
Is God for real? Did he really create everything in 6 literal days?
Didn't God just use the Big Bang?
Why is there death and suffering? Do you really believe the Bible?
Didn't man evolve from apes?
For answers to these questions and more, stand by for Believing the Bible.
Welcome to Believing the Bible. This is Scott Lane with Terry Reed, Dr. Carl Williams, and our producer, Ed Salzwell, all directors of the San Antonio Bible-Based Science Association. We are here to reassure you can believe the Bible from the very first verse. Today, we have the honor of having Bruce Malone with us. Bruce is, I guess, the founder and with Search for Truth Ministries. They have a lot of interesting facets in this ministry, from the Rocks Cry Out DVD series, which I believe right now is at 12, but you're going to expand to 18.
You're working on the next 6, yes.
You're working on the next 6. They have a quarterly newsletter, which is very colorful and very informative. I just finished your current one today. Bruce did 30 years of research as a leader at Dow Chemical Corporation. He has a degree in chemical engineering and helped on putting together 18 patents. He's spoken in 12 countries. Since 2008, has done more than 800 lectures to 50,000 people. Since 2001, his ministry has printed more than 400,000 books and donated 230,000 of those to students and prisoners. He lives in Midland, Michigan, with his wife and 4 children. Welcome, Bruce Malone.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be on the show, Scott.
What do our students get taught?
Well, if you look at the bigger picture, where did everything come from? Where did the universe come from? Where do people come from? There are only 2 options. One is that it made itself. Time, matter, energy made itself. Chemicals came together. Life made itself. All the different forms of life just slowly transformed into itself. That's cosmic evolution, chemical evolution, biological evolution. That is all that's taught in the school system. By law, we foolishly as a nation chose to leave God out of our children's education. God is the other option. If you look at the universe as a box, either the box made itself and everything in the box made itself, or the box has a box maker. Now, God clearly warns us over and over again from cover to cover in Scripture to not leave him out of our thinking. He said, my word is the light unto my feet and the lamp unto my path. My word is the lamp unto my feet and the light unto my path. So when we don't do that, the only option left is to pretend it all made itself. Now, the travesty is, for about 3 generations, that's all the children get in our education system. Then they become the teachers and the professors, and it becomes locked even stronger and stronger with each subsequent year into the thinking of the students, the textbooks, and the museums. And it puts us in the world we're in today, where God becomes increasingly irrelevant. We make up our own standards, our own rules, our own morality, and everything deteriorates downward. But it all starts with the rejection of the God of creation that Scripture talks about.
Is that what got you into this ministry in 2001?
Well, it is, and it really goes back beyond 2001. I've been at this for 30 years. Came out of college, having been trained, everything could be explained by natural causes. And as a scientifically oriented person, I assumed it was all true, but only because a lot of the evidence that contradicts that concept and supports the reality that we have a creator was left out of my education. So when I did become a Christian, when I realized either Jesus was a liar, a lunatic, or Lord of all, and the other 2 don't make sense, I really started studying the Bible more seriously. I realized it gave us a model to understand biology. 10 times Genesis says creatures reproduce after their own kind. It gives us a model for geology. There's more time spent talking about a world restructuring flood in Genesis 6 through 9 than the creation of the entire universe, and it comes up repeatedly throughout Scripture. That would have pulverized this planet, created the fossil record, created the coal seams, created the sedimentary rock layers very rapidly and very recently. And I realized, it's the attack on the early parts of the Bible that have led to people assuming all of the Bible is pretty much an irrelevant book of religious rules. If you can't believe it from the beginning, when do you start? When do you stop? Where do you stop picking and choosing what it actually literally in a straightforward way says. So it just built a passion in me, and I've been producing materials and doing research and producing books and video series to help parents and concerned adults train this next generation. The Bible is credible and real, because that's not what they're getting in the movies, the museums, the TV shows, and their schools.
When you're talking about materials, we first became aware of your ministry several years ago with the presentation of the Red Record. But of course, you've done a lot of other books. In fact, you're a prolific author, having helped with A Closer Look at the Evidence, Inspired Evidence, Have You Considered Brilliance, Censored Science, etc. I do have a bone to pick with you, though. When you stayed with me about 3 years ago, and while you were doing a couple of presentations here in San Antonio, I watched you write, I think, a portion of Brilliant. And you worked for probably about 20 hours or more during the 2 or 3 days you were in my house. I've been writing a book for 3.5 years. I'm almost done. But you made me feel unbelievably inferior in terms of watching your commitment and the ability to, on your computer, not only write, but produce very, very lovely artwork with that thing. Envious of what you're able to do with that. That's both a gift of God, and it also talks to the kind of commitment that's needed to write effectively. Do you know Richard Stepanek with Alpha Omega Institute?
Yeah, actually I do.
Okay. Richard has been trying to write at length with a book for himself, and he has the same issues I've got. We're both envious of you.
Oh, yeah, but I don't have a radio program, and you are reaching hundreds of thousands. So, as Paul said, we're not all ears, we're not all eyes, and I just plug away at it. I've been doing it for 30 years, and Dr. Jared Bergman, he turns out 2 books a year, so you just can't compare. I am a slow snail compared to others, and you are the speedy rabbit compared to others.
Uh-huh. I'll try to run with that. You are listening to Believing the Bible. This is Scott Lane with Terry Reed and Dr. Carl Williams. If you would like to learn more, go to sabsa.org. That is SABBSA.org. What's your website, Bruce?
It's searchforthetruths.net. Just string it all together, searchforthetruths.net.
Okay. So people can go online and look at your resources and either buy or download, or how does it work?
Well, when I first started this, I said this all belongs to the Lord. So all of my books can actually be read online. The DVDs, low-resolution versions of these 45-minute teachings that can be used in Sunday schools can be viewed online. But you can also purchase them either on Amazon or on my website, and that's what helps supports the ministry and allows us to produce other materials.
Great.
Yeah.
It sounds to me like, listening to your accomplishments with all those patents and being a chemical engineer, I would put you up against Bill Nye, the science guy, any day.
Well, yeah. I was very frustrated watching that debate, because he's so slick, and he's had a whole career being in front of the camera, and he sounds so credible, but he just glosses over stuff and misleads, and it is really frustrating to see the superficial evidence put in front of our culture, and to not see it contradicted and corrected.
With all of your accomplishments, what do you think about his claim, basically, you have to believe in Darwinian evolution to do science?
Oh, that's just a smokescreen. You understand, they define science as only natural causes. So they define science by definition, leaving out God. Well, if you do that, there are only 2 possibilities. If the box doesn't have a box maker, the only thing left is that the box made itself. So they can say it's a scientific fact that evolution is true. Meanwhile, the mechanisms don't work. Natural selection cannot stop the slow deterioration of biological life forms. We have never seen chemicals come together, ever, in spite of millions of experiments and billions of dollars spent. We've never seen any indication there's any other life anywhere on Earth, in spite of decades of searching through every possible signal coming at us. We've never seen a bacteria turning to anything other than bacteria. So the evidence is on our side. It's just by saying it over and over and over again and controlling the education system, you can convince people that evolution's a fact, because you're defining science to leave out the only other alternative.
We are just about out of time for this program. We will come back next week with a program on your Fiji ministry, which is fascinating. I want to tell you of one positive effect you may or may not know. With our ministry here, one of the things we do, like you do, is to try and put videos and books into people's hands. And your attitude of donations and trying to give these at the lowest price is one we've adopted and has changed our focus for putting things in people's hands. But moreover, I will tell you that even though we offer stuff from AOI, CMI, Answers in Genesis, and
ICR,
all of them, we sell twice as much from Search for the Truth than we do for all those others combined.
Wow, that's really encouraging.
Yep.
Thanks for sharing that.
Believing the Bible now has a new way you can support our ministry and get some great gifts. For a donation of $10 or more, we will email you a copy of Repetition in the Bible by Jack Cassioni, which shows the Bible to be a self-proving document and shows God's protection of His Word over the ages. For a donation of $25 or more, we will also mail you a copy of Scott Lane's book, What If God Wrote the Bible, showing 6 things we should find in the world and in the Bible if God is the author of the Bible. To get these great gifts, send your check or money order to SABSA at 7620 Avery, Live Oak, Texas 78233. That's SABBSA at 7620 Avery Road, Live Oak, Texas 78233. This information for ordering is also on our contact page at sabsa.org.
Information for creation events in our area are on our website's calendar page. For more information or to schedule a presentation, go to sabsa.org or call 210-599-7240. When you go to our website, you can click on a link to our newsletter. Our website has a link for contact information on which you can order our newsletter to be emailed to you, or you can call us. Also go to whyshouldyoubelieve.com. That is Terry's website containing articles looking at current day issues from a biblical perspective. SABSA meets the second Tuesday of each month at 7 p.m. We are now meeting at Faith Lutheran Church just south of the corner of Jones Maltzberger and Thousand Oaks. There you will find biblical apologetics and creation science teaching found nowhere else in Bexar County, as well as the availability of books and videos on these important subjects. If you missed any part of this show, you can listen to the show anytime by going to the AM 630 KSLR, the Word in South Texas website. Click on KSLR Podcast, scroll down until you find Believing the Bible. Please join us again next Saturday for Believing the Bible. I'm Scott Lane, and for Terry Reed, Dr. Carl Williams, and Ed Salzville, thanks for listening, and we hope you found today a reason to believe the Bible.